today on the Tearsheet Podcast.
Yeah, interesting, right? It was some trepidation for everybody, right? With what were the implications of COVID. But for us, you're right. In particular, in this payments world, the digital nature of it, we've done nothing but explode since then. We have, of course, clients that are, very much looking for virtual solutions, very much looking for wearables and contactless. Even the basic gift and incentive market is taking off, right? Because people want to help others, right? So we've seen that in the past, and that's been true through this sort of crazy time, is that we've seen volumes increase and we've seen demand in the digital space increase.
Welcome to the Tearsheet Podcast. I'm Zack Miller. Launching a new firm in the face of this global crisis takes fortitude. Timing couldn't be worse. Or could it? Demand for different types of digital payments is ramping. That's a space Qolo plays in. A bit like Marqeta, a bit like Fiserv, the company was launched by a team with a lot of payments industry experience to be a next-generation B2B payments hub and an all-in-one payment solution. CEO Patricia Montesi joins us on the podcast to talk about building and launching a payments firm in the midst of the COVID crisis and the challenges and opportunities presented by this time. We drilled down into Qolo's capabilities, and she describes how firms are using its API to bring payments in-house. Qolo is going global from its inception, and Patricia talks about the need to build cross-border capabilities. Patricia Montesi, my guest today on the Tearsheet Podcast.
Hi, I'm Patricia Montesi. I am founder and CEO of Qolo. Qolo is the B2B payments hub for the new economy. We were founded in 2018. We are an all-in-one payments hub geared towards and designed for the new economy companies, where we focus on things like gig worker payouts and neo-banking industries and anything that's sort of post 2010, where the new economy has really exploded in terms of technology. We actually have built and designed our platform to accommodate and optimize for these types of businesses.
So much to unpack there, and congratulations on your launch. Let's start with your personal background, Patricia. Can you take us back, sort of how you got to Qolo and what the genesis story was?
Sure. So I started in payments in 2003 at a little company called Wildcard Systems. So it was the first built for purpose open loop prepaid system. And it was there that I met my three founders, my partners for Qolo. So we've worked together at big and small companies over the years in the payments world. In every aspect, we've sat in the chairs of processors, we've sat in the chairs of program managers, we've been consultants, and together, we were always professionally and personal colleagues throughout this journey in payments. And 2 years ago, we saw and felt that there was a large swath of markets being underserved, particularly in the new economy, but elsewhere as well in the B2B space, where the consumer side had sort of taken off and the corporate B2B section was left behind. And so we were sort of frustrated trying to find solutions, either for our companies or for our clients. And we got together and said, well, there is no one platform that can do everything we want. So we either have to go with a legacy player who has fragmented offerings, or we have to stitch together ecosystems. But then that's leaving someone else to manage those vendors and understand payments and regulatory landscapes. So we decided that it was our time, and it was our time to put together a platform that could do all of these things seamlessly, quicker, and at a better cost.
Amazing. And I guess you couldn't have picked a better time to launch a startup. And actually, I mean that. From what we've seen, payment volumes, obviously digital payment volumes are up across the industry. Can you talk about just how that timing worked out?
Yeah, interesting, right? It was some trepidation for everybody, right? With what were the implications of COVID. But for us, you're right. In particular, in this payments world, the digital nature of it, we've done nothing but explode since then. We have, of course, clients that are, very much looking for virtual solutions, very much looking for wearables and contactless. Even, the basic gift and incentive market is taking off, right? Because, people want to help others, right? So we've seen that in the past, and that's been true through this sort of crazy time, is that we've seen volumes increase and we've seen demand in the digital space increase versus now there have been, it's interesting to continue to hire. We've doubled our staff during COVID. We're fortunate that we have a brilliant handpicked team that's all through our network of 20 years of working in this space. And we're used to working remotely. So I think that's positive. But it has brought its challenges, right? Where our first all hands is Zoom meeting, right? So it's been an interesting time, but fortunately for us, it's been positive in terms of growth.
Have there been challenges, I guess, outside outside of organizational challenges? I don't know, getting the attention of potential partners, clients. Are there other challenges you can point to that have derived from launching during this time period?
Yeah, I think certainly in some sectors that were, likely hit the hardest, that where there's people that are serving restaurant space, some of those players have hit pause while they figure things out. But many others, I think I would say the opposite, where the demand has been, let's go faster, not slower. The first client that we launched live, literally, 2 days after sort of the lockdown started happening, he called me and said, I want to move faster, not slower. So we've seen a lot of people wanting to get out and launch, and they're coming to Qolo because we are quick to market and we are agile, and so it's been working well from that perspective.
So I know you mentioned a couple use cases in your intro to Qolo. Can we talk about some of those? If you can name clients by name, if you can't, we understand. But can you talk about, I guess, sort of how Qolo, I guess, how the rubber meets the road, and talk about some of those use cases that you guys are powering?
Yeah, sure. And so our platform, when I say it's all in one, I mean, I think that what we found was we didn't want to have a platform where you could get 90% of the functionality you needed, but you needed to bring in another supplier to do that, right? And we wanted to, if you needed to accept a payment and move money in, you wanted to transfer money in between in a very flexible manner on a ledger system, we could do that. If you wanted to disperse and pay out, we wanted to bring all of that together via a single API set. And that use case has resonated a lot with many players, that anywhere speed of pay, cost of pay, complexities come into account where there's multiple parties, things that are beyond a single plugin, where it's, complexities, make it challenging to have a smooth and seamless payments experience. Those are the use cases where we found the most traction. And those are, they run the spectrum. We actually have a gift and corporate incentive customer that loved us for our time to market and our platform and the ease of use of our platform, but also loved the fact that we brought some innovation to the table. We can't announce that right now, but we will be announcing it shortly. We have an industry first that we're doing with this partner. And it's because we're a ground up designed in 2018 platform, right? So that's one use case where we're going to be able to do something different than anyone else in the market. Then there's other, international and global disbursements, right? All these new economy companies and the marketplaces and the gig workers, people who have, global disbursement needs that include cross-border or high dollar amounts. Those use cases we're seeing tons of traction in. We've put together the platform that can, really do some really amazing things, from speed to market and timing of payment for cross-border at very low cost. So we've got multi-currency cards, so it's the same currency settlement. And we're able to facilitate these payments in a quicker way than some of the category leaders today. And we're also able to share a lot more of the economics. And I think, our bent on the commercial model has, really taken on a view towards letting the clients own their P&L, letting the clients take control of their destiny. We have one client that basically, his quote to me was, "Will you let me be my own PayPal?" So it's an interesting thing where payments are a strategic part of your business. We want those people to ultimately own the P&L and everything that comes with that. And that's what we enable. But we're also program managers. So we actually have some clients who, it's maybe less strategic for them from a payments perspective, but they still have a lot of pain and inefficiencies, but they don't want to manage it. And so we offer that service as well. And we kind of offer some things in between where we get you to market with our expertise because we know how to launch these programs. And then we train you up and actually transition it over. So those hopefully that's gives you a little bit more insights into our use cases and where Qolo comes into play.
Definitely. And can you talk to us a little bit about the decision to go global? It sounds like almost from day one, how important that was, and how you arrived at that decision.
For us, it was table stakes. I mean, the four founders together, we've launched over 7 payments and loyalty platforms over the course of our careers. And so we've seen the pitfalls where you don't design with the end in mind, where you have to cobble things together later or bolt things on. And so it was with that view that we put together a global platform. And even from the standpoint of payments and currencies, everything is, we can, loyalty can be a currency, cryptocurrency can be a currency, like everything on our system is flexible enough to treat things, from a system perspective, similarly.
Got it. And you mentioned this client who said that they wanted to build their own PayPal, or be their own PayPal. Can you talk about, I guess, the trend towards managing payments in-house? And I guess what kind of customers are looking to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, one example is that, we have a freelance marketplace, right? Again, where paying people is part of their core business, right? And I think, the technology advances have made it easier and easier for people to, quote unquote, embed certain things, right? Like the payments in their platforms. But where it's strategic and where it's complicated, it's still difficult for people to do without someone like Qolo. So I do see the trend of the embedded payments and embedded finance, and I think it's frustration, right? I think it's, okay, I can continue, 5-10 years ago, I had offerings where I could, pay someone else 2-3% and have it taken care of. And, over time and with the advances in technology, people are scratching their heads and looking for new revenue streams and new ways to take advantage of the technology. And so that's one of the things that we talk about with Qolo is that we will let you own your P&L. We're very different from traditional program managers that take shares of revenue. We have a really unique commercial structure that enables people to do that.
So when I first heard the name Qolo, like I immediately thought co-location. I don't think it means that. Can you talk a little bit about the naming convention and what the idea was behind it?
Yeah, it was with a dual lens. Qolo stands for Quality of Life Organization, and it was to ensure that our clients had quality of life, and we removed friction from the payments world, right? And a lot of that was born out of us, the founders and I being consultants with people that were just super frustrated with the offerings out there, and the back office people and the reconciliation headaches, and it's like, they see Venmo out there and they're like, why can't my corporate life be like this easy? So it was about removing friction for our clients, but it was also about the 4 of us coming together and doing something that we love. And this is sort of the labor of love for us. And we've extended that to all of the folks that we've hired are people we worked with for 10-15 years in payments. And so for us, it was like, we want to do what we love. We want to work with people we respect and trust. And that extends to our clients as well.
Got it. And Patricia, can you help me understand better? You mentioned sort of that Qolo is like one of the main differentiators is that you've brought all the ecosystems together into one solutions provider, so people don't need to cobble other solutions together. Can you sort of just talk about where you fit in vis-a-vis some of the other players in the market and sort of like what they do well, and I guess how you see Qolo competing with them?
Sure. And I think that there's a couple of things, right? So a lot of the legacy providers out there have, through M&A, acquired all of the capabilities that we're saying we have, right? And that's good, but that also means, frankly, that you have fragmented offerings sitting on different platforms, sometimes being managed by different business development and support teams. So you can have it under one roof, but it really isn't on one platform. Whereas we brought it all together, and now certainly there are more modern processors out there that say that they have the same capabilities as well. But where Qolo is different, and I think this is important, is modern processor. Modern being 10 years ago I liken technology years to dog years, right? And these days, 10 years ago is a lifetime ago, right? That was before Uber, that was before DoorDash. So the whole world has changed, and we actually have the platform that was designed with all of that in mind. So we think that's a true advantage to what is really modern and what is really now.
Got it. And can we talk a little bit about so we have the official launch today. Can we talk about, I guess, what your go-to-market strategy is? How you're getting in front of potential clients and partners?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we have because we're older and we've been around the industry for 20 years. We have a large network to call upon, right? So we've had a ton of organic things that have occurred with us through our own connections, through our partners, our bank partners, our international cross-border partners. So we've had a lot of just sort of organic, these are the people that we're working with, and we collaborate with them and we come up with solutions, and the pipeline has just, I mean, frankly, been crazy in terms of busy and demand. So I think, we have invested in business development, and we're doing that as well. And that's more with the lens of, targeting specific verticals. But a lot of the things have just become, come through our connections and people who know us and people who see our names and understand our backgrounds and get that, we're more than credible from a payments expertise standpoint.
That makes a lot of sense, and obviously plays to your strengths of your experience in the industry. I guess in the remaining time we have, I'm curious about product pipeline. It sounds like you've launched with a pretty robust set of capabilities and different use cases. Like, how are you thinking about the maturation of the product over, say, the next 12 months?
Yeah, I mean, we are, we're very agile, and we've been building out our capabilities to the pipeline demand, right? And so we, constantly adjust and pivot and reprioritize. But the core of our platform, like I said, it is out there and live today, right? I think we're moving, and we'll be announcing shortly some global, international capabilities, and we'll continue to work on expanding internationally, whether it's from banking partners outside the U.S. or some sort of licensed entity outside the U.S. Those are the types of things that will sort of move down the path over the next 6 to 12 months. But yeah, I would say that most of the core stuff has been baked in already. We started this in 2018. We brought a lot of existing assets to the table from a software and development perspective. So we feel pretty good about the robustness of our current capabilities.
I lied about that being the last question. I have one last question. Your biggest challenges as a leader taking this thing forward?
It's funny. We did we relaunched our website the other day, and we did a Zoom picture to put of the all hands to put on our website, and it's near and dear to my heart to look at that picture and think about the people that have decided to leave very fruitful careers to come and join Qolo. And so I look at it as with pride and with seriousness that we are all pumped up about this. We are one of the most talented teams in payments. I would put my team up against anyone. And so it's, for me, it's all about how do I as a leader make sure that we continue to succeed and make sure that these people made the right decision when they, left their jobs and they came to work for Qolo. So I take that very, very seriously. But at the same time, we all came together to enjoy what we do and to hit it out of the park and to have fun. And that's a big part of the culture of Qolo.
Patricia, thank you for joining us on the Tearsheet Podcast today.
My pleasure. Thank you.